Hello. Hello. Well, it would be a good idea to set up the chat, right? Yeah. Damn right before I go to work. Nice, nice, nice. How you doing, man? How's it going, Spriggan? Okay, I have one video to kind of react to, not totally react to. It's 22 fucking minutes, but fuck it.
What is the business Division 2 agent? This your boy Trey Day coming at you with another video. I know it's been a while since I came out with one, but I'm gonna try to make this one as short as I can. I've redone it like.
And this is by Trade Day 381. I just discovered this guy, but he's talking about pretty much the same thing I kind of deal with this game. So let's see.
6 times and I keep hitting the 30-minute marker because I've hit a problem. I've hit a wall with content. I have been trying my best to come up with stuff that I feel like should be put out. Like that video that I put out on the Umbra Initiative was because somebody was confused on how it works and they had a question about it, and I explained it and they liked it. Uh, and people are just so tired of strikers. But
totally agree with that.
that was the whole point. It's to those that are at a point where they want to try something new and they're tired of doing the same old. Yeah, that was the build for them. Uh, and I felt good making it because I enjoyed the build in itself. Now, I've hit a wall because I want to do more content. I want to shed light on the things that should be brought to people's attention. Like, I wanted to put out something about Negotiated Dilemma. Negotiated Dilemma is my favorite build. One of, because I feel like it is extremely overpowered, because it has its own damage that it does. No other build allows you to get chance crit damage and distribute that type of damage simultaneously to other targets, which made it one of the most powerful PvE builds in my opinion. I want to do a True Patriot. I'm not into Hunter's Fury, but I'd like to do a Hunter's Fury. But the problem is that overall, as a content creator, I need to bring you content. And this is where I hit the wall, because the content that I put out may be new from me, but it's old content. It is all old content. So any Division 2 videos you see right now, it will always be old content unless somebody finds some type of exploit that allows you to get massive amount of shade. And the truth of the matter is that that type of content will get you banned, and therefore it is a negative content. You know.
I kind of agree. You don't really have a lot of incentive to really create new builds because, I mean, the Hunter's Fury, it's basically strikers solo, and you have a lot more survivability. And then like Umbra Initiative is basically strikers, but you can play it more defensively. But other than that, this game fails to have more variety nowadays because it's like you have to focus on DPS numbers, big numbers. And if you're in a party with like one other striker other than yourself being striker, fuck, you're gonna be battling for supremacy, and everybody else who's using different builds is gonna fall behind, just because. And they're gonna see it and just be like, fuck this. Why do I even bother? You know, might as well be support. And this game just fails at that, really bad. Which, yeah, once there's a fucking meta involved, which everybody's fucking using strikers, and I'm sure they're in the same realm that I'm in, where I'm just fucking bored. They got nothing else to work for.
And I can't do that to my subscribers or my viewers. It's what's the word? It's unfair because you come here to find a better way to monopolize your time. When if I what I put out gets you banned, then it becomes
It's not even fair to your viewers. It's more so it's not even your fault as a player. It's the fault of the developers weakening skill builds and making anything having to do with the skill build making it super weak. You know, I feel like because skill builds were easy mode back in the day, everyone was using that. But in PvP, that's when it hurt the most. In PvE, it wasn't so bad. It was like, oh shit, I can count on my stuff. I can count on my tech to do the work for me. Now I can just hang back. Meanwhile,
A new YouTube subscriber has arrived.
oh shit, thank you for the sub. Um, but yeah, it's back in the day. Skill builds were amazing,
A
and for
new
PvE,
YouTube subscriber has arrived.
goddamn, all these goddamn YouTube subscribers. But yeah, skill builds were amazing in PvE, and then now they're shit because
A new
it affects
YouTube subscriber has arrived.
because it affects PvP more so than it does in PvE, and because this game tries so hard to be both things, they had to like not only nerf stuff for PvP, but it hurts the PvE players the most, and it sucks.
a waste of time, wasted time that you've put into this game. If you end up getting like 8,000 shade,
100%, you waste your fucking time.
then next thing you know, I'll teach you how to get 12 and 15,000 in a day, and eventually you get permanently banned. That 8,000 that you put in legitimately is now wiped away.
Yeah. I mean, finding exploits is one thing, but it's like this game's filled with different exploits, and some of them are not even exploits because they've been in the game since the very beginning. It's just up until now when the new team has no idea how to really regulate the game. They're like, well, since we don't know how to make new content, why don't we get rid of the content that people keep playing, like the floor 10 from Summit? Let's get rid of that content so we can force our players that have supported us since the very beginning to do our boring as fuck content.
Uh, so I've hit this like massive wall on this game because without new content from the developers, there's no such thing as new content in this game.
Hostile broadcast detected.
And we're still not going to get new content. That's the thing. I would understand if like if they got rid of floor 10, the Summit floor 10 farm when they released Incursions, or if they released a new raid, or when they released the Descent. That would have made more sense. If they released the Descent and then nerfed Summit floor 10, that would have made more sense. That would mean the devs are serious about making content, bringing stuff to the game that make people want to keep coming back and play new stuff, because now it means that yeah, they're actually working on the game.
And that kind of put me in this stagnant mode. And I started to realize that there hasn't been anything new to this game in years. Like we've
That's the sad part. This game does that. It gets a little bit of content and then it just slows down and it just trickles down. And then when you get everybody like in, it's so funny when new content comes out, everybody goes into the honeymoon period and then they start telling their friends about this game because they're enjoying this quote unquote new game they discovered when it's actually been out for years. And then they get involved in the game and they realize how great this game is, and then they slowly but surely become what the other people have been trying to avoid in this game, which you just get stuck in this tired old loop of doing the same content over and over again.
we're sitting on 2 years since the last 2 or 3 years since the last raid. Uh, yeah, they came out with new gear sets. They came out with new brand sets. They came out with new apparel, but they're just you know putting lipstick on a pig.
Yep, it's just cosmetic stuff. It's not even like game changing or anything or game altering. There's no mounts. There's no bicycles or something. I don't know.
No matter how much you put on the pig, it's still going to be a pig. And it became indicative of what happened in uh, a game that I used to play called The Last of Us. You know, The Last of Us came out on PS3, and I bought it, and it was one of the best games I ever played. And then it came out with then after I got done with the campaign, I jumped into factions. And if you haven't played it, The Last of Us Factions is probably one of the funnest games you can ever play, multiplayer wise. Like it is extremely fun. I suggest
But
anybody.
here's the thing about that. That's literally what conflict was supposed to be. Like, if they really wanted to bring content back to the game and have it be for people to keep on playing, conflict is the key. If they really worked on conflict and made it what it actually was meant to be, rather than just left out content, just like never to be touched ever again. You know, like, I don't know, give us domination modes, give us conquest modes, give us more bigger maps with more people in them, you know, heavily forced PvP, because conflict is such a good game mode that it's left so alone that you're just bored. There's nothing to do.
Who has not played it,
Agent charge compromised.
go do it. Like it is a small arena, but it is so much fun.
Exactly. That's literally what conflict was supposed to be, but they just refuse to acknowledge that mode.
But the problem is that this game hit a wall. It hit a massive wall.
It's hard to tell whether or not it's the devs' faults or is it the fault of Ubisoft themselves. Like, do they just not have the budget to produce new content, or even just try things that might be broken, or maybe just try things that sound stupid? Just try it, because I'm pretty sure anything with this game would work. Anything new, content wise or gameplay wise, would be a welcome. Everyone's starving.
Because the developers abandoned it, and then they decided to come out with a remake and a newer version, like The Last of Us Part 2. Didn't come with a multiplayer, but they promised it would. And
So that's the thing, yeah. Last of Us. So Last of Us multiplayer was basically built from Uncharted 2's multiplayer, which was a really great multiplayer. Like, fuck, that was so fun. The Uncharted 2 multiplayer was probably the most fun multiplayer game I ever played on PS3. That was so much fun. And like, you could grab barrels, you had like maps, and they were pretty big too. And I think it was like an 8v8, and you could play different characters, and you just unlocked different characters. That was pretty much a go-to, and it was a lot of fun. Like, there were a lot of destructibles. You could grab barrels, throw it at people. You can go around, melee people, and steal their guns. It was fucking funny.
then they came to appease the masses, they came out with a Last of Us remake, which the remake is just the same as the first game. And I assumed that when they did the remake, they would do a remake of the multiplayer, but they never did. It was just the campaign, so they made money off The Last of Us Part 2 and The Last of Us remake. And there hasn't been a single solitary multiplayer on this next gen console. Third person shooters are being crapped on.
I wouldn't say they're crapped on. They're being left out because everyone believes that FPS is the future. FPS games are the future. If it's an FPS, it needs to have multiplayer. If it's a third person, it needs to be a story. It needs to be a complete story driven game. No multiplayer or co-op even. Probably Helldivers 2 coming out. That's the only game I've seen that's like heavily. It's just purely PvE. Other than that, I don't see a lot of these games nowadays coming out. If they're third person, will even bother making a multiplayer mode, because it's all about Call of Duty. They don't want to compete with Call of Duty. Yet it's funny. All these games with third person that are third person that come out with the multiplayer PvP experience, they end up being cult classics. People actually keep coming back and playing them, but no one uses those numbers to do the same thing or make another game, and that revolves around that. I don't want to say it's like a conspiracy saying like, oh, Call of Duty Activision Blizzard has like a connection saying like, no, you can't make any multiplayer games. You can only make, if you're making it third person, it has to be just strictly story driven. If you make an FPS game, it has to be multiplayer or some shit like that, or it can't be that good or better than Call of Duty. Some shit, I don't know.
They have not produced anything new or worthy or competitive for these third-person shooters, and it has now made me realize that
Incoming backup request.
based off of what The Last of Us or what Naughty Dog did, The Last of Us is The Division doing the exact same thing. The Last of Us promised 3 years ago that they would come out with a multiplayer, and they have went radio silent over the past 3 years. They have not done a single solitary thing with this. What happened to that resource convoy? Just vanished? It did. That's messed up. But they have not come out with a single solitary um,
Convoy's done, son.
noteworthy anything for the Division. The same way Naughty Dog has not come out with anything on The Last of Us. They keep promising us Heartland, and yet we haven't gotten anything remotely close. The Last of Us came out with a still image of their.
Dude, I'm not scared for Heartland. However, I know for a fact what's gonna happen. I know for a fact of what's gonna happen with Heartland, because they have some serious work to do with that to keep people interested in it. Because literally, it's just a daycare, and the content that they have yet right now, it doesn't seem grind worthy. Like, it doesn't even seem worth it.
Their multiplayer to appease the masses. That was a year ago, or a year and a half ago. What did Ubisoft do? They came out with a video for Heartland and haven't said a single solitary thing since. These AAA developers have now realized that the stuff that they're coming out with, the things that they have ready for us to play, they want to come out with them. They really do, and I really think they do. But the problem is that what is the point of coming out with it right now
CP captured. Good job.
when
Detected. Nearby location. Guarded by hostiles.
all they have to do is wait till the tail end, because we're so close to a PlayStation 6 that they can come out with something on the back end with this new content on the back end of the PS5, make money off of it then, and then when there's an established release date for the PS6, they come out with the PS6 version and make money off of that, because you have to purchase the PS6 version. That's the same way Naughty Dog did with The Last of Us multiplayer. They came out with, well, The Last of Us period. They came out with the PS3 version, and then the PS4 came out, and then they came out with the PS4 version, The Last of Us Remastered, which was the exact same game, but they made buku money off of that. And then when The Last of Us Remastered came out, they came out with The Last of Us Remake for the PS5.
I have a theory. The reason why they didn't come out with multiplayer for The Last of Us 2 on the PS5 is because Sony's numbers for users aren't that high. So, and amongst that high, most of them play Call of Duty. Most of them play Call of Duty. So, why would you want to alienate that potential group to play a potential multiplayer that might be dead in the water, that they know that their players will most likely just play Call of Duty? You know? I don't know. Maybe a false theory, but just that kind of brings a thought in my head.
On top of The Last of Us Part 2. So they made money they made buku money off the same game on 3 different systems. 3 versions of an income. And Ubisoft is taking note and said, why would we do that when we can just come out with it at the tail end of the PS5, and then when the PS6 come out, make money off of that. So we're stuck. Third-person shooters There hadn't been a single good third-person shooter since the release of Division 2. And I need you to be honest about that. There has not been. So when I watch the content creators come up with all these different videos saying, "Oh, this is game breaking, this is this, that, and third," hey, just stop. Stop. Like, we need to just stop coming out with this brand new game broken, this, that, and the third, and actually come out and say, us as content creators, we're holding you developers accountable, just like y'all want us to be held accountable for the stuff that we do to get our views rolled back. Hey, we're holding you accountable. Everybody, all my subscribers, all the people who view this video, finally go up to your big name content creators and say, all right, this is what you need to do. We're asking you to do. Put out videos saying, hey, we're not going to sit here and watch you do this cash grab on games that we are committed to, but you're committed to the bank that you possibly could receive.
See, it's true. Like, I feel like if there was actually content to do in the game, people would be less inclined to find these glitches and bugs and make content about it. That's the thing. It's foretelling if a game is dying, if more people are making content slash videos about the exploits or anything broken with the game, more so than just talking about the overall content that's in the game already. It's like, it goes to show you, it's like, if you make no content for your game, the players that you made the game for are going to find the bugs, find the broken shit, and take advantage of it. So it should be more on the devs to like, okay, sorry, let's make content, let's give you something.
You are committed to making sure that we are on this 3-year drought of this brand new game system.
More than 3 years. We're about, I think, about 4 years now. And you can't even count the seasons because it's not even new content. It's just the same missions, and they're just reruns. And the story is just non-existent. It's not even interesting. It's garbage. Like, it's not even like, what's the word? It's not even immersive enough to keep you interested in the game.
They came out 3 years ago. This PS5 and the Xbox Series X has come out, and we have got nothing. The Xbox Series X, they got a 60 frame per second Division 1.
Reinforcements incoming.
But as PlayStation players, we've gotten absolutely nothing.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a remake per se. That was just bringing it over to the consoles. It was essentially just the same game, just with the added 60 FPS. But other than that, you're not really missing much. It's still the same game, no new content.
Even remotely close to that. Us content creators should sit back and say, wait a minute. Is that the reason why there is no Heartland? Because you're waiting on the PS6? You want us to spend our money on a PS6 when the truth be told is you just came out to PS5 and finally came out with your own version of a Pro controller, and now you're telling me, oh, it's going to be obsolete?
This is why I feel the more bad for console players, because you guys get the shit end of the stick. Like, all yours sold are peripherals and upgrades of the same system. That's it. When, like, if you guys were on PC, and you can't even say exclusives are the reason now, because now they're moving exclusives. A couple years down the line, they're gonna come over to PC anyway, and they may or may not be better on PC. Like, I feel like the console players get a lot of the shit end of the stick because you gotta buy a new controller every now and then, and that costs fucking what, $60 to $70, depending on the actual brand you get, or if you get from the actual company name, it's like at least like what, like $60, I think so. Or if you get a no name brand and it's the shitty one you give to your little brother, like. And games themselves cost like $60 or $70 actually, and they don't go down in price unless they're terrible or it's years later. But by the time you waited that long, the newer version of that game has already come out. Like, on PC we have Steam sales. On PC we have Epic Games who give you free games that are relatively kind of new, they're indie games mostly, but they're relatively new games and they're for free, you know, and you keep them there.
In 2 years? It is. It's gonna be obsolete in 2 years. I got old fingers, so
Here's the crazy thing: PS5 is already obsolete, and so is the Xbox One. It's already obsolete.
I can't do PC. That's the truth. I can't do PC. I'll get carpal tunnel in 2 days.
The thing is, though, you can use a controller on PC. If you really don't like keyboard and mouse, you can use a controller on PC. It's gonna take some time to learn it. Hell, you might even discover that it's even better experience on PC, because sometimes using a controller on PC feels better than on the PS5 or the Xbox, because PS5 and Xbox uses auto aim, and believe it or not, auto aim does more harm to you than it does positives for you.
But that's what they're asking us to do. Like, there's no reason for this new game system to come out, and there hasn't been a single game on it, you know, for 3 years. If you want to say, oh, it was due to COVID, I will give you COVID for a year. I would say fine. You want to say coronavirus like slowed down everything for a year? Cool, it did. It slowed down for a year. But yo, y'all have no excuse now. In that time, in that short amount of time, you want to say COVID slowed it down, you could have easily worked from home to give us a remastered version of, or remake version of the Division 1 by rebuilding its game system from the ground up. You already had the foundation. You just got to upgrade the graphics. You know,
It's not going to fix it. Graphics for this game is not going to fix it. The graphics in this game is already top notch. You know, like, this is already a beautiful looking game, depending on your graphics card. That's the thing too. Playing on PC, you get to experience a way better and different game depending on your hardware, and depending on where you go and where you get this hardware. I mean, you can save a couple bucks, or maybe you might know a friend that's probably giving away hardware. You never know. Like, I would say make the jump. Fuck, dude, I bought a PS5 out of pure necessity because I wanted to play God of War Ragnarok. I played God of War Ragnarok and I fucking hated it because Kratos kind of turned into a bitch, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why is he caring about his feelings? You know, I get the whole, like, oh, he's growing up or whatever, but it's it didn't jive. I didn't even finish the game. I was like, I don't like it.
give us better stability like Division 2. You have the blueprint. You know, start going to your content creators saying and petition to have a remake version of Division 1 from ground up. If you're not going to give us a Division,
I don't know why you would, because it's nothing will change. Like, I think what you should be asking for is if they are making Division 3, and they are, it was just announced today that they are making it, if we bring back New York, if we go back to New York. If not, at least make content surrounding New York, and we get transported somewhere else. And just give us more biomes to explore instead of just the same old biome over and over. You know, rainy, swampy, fucking Washington isn't that fun, you know. But I feel like if we had more access to like other biomes, kind of like what this game does, Division 2, because we can go to New York and we can go to Washington. But New York is like a shell of itself from Division 1, which that's because of story. But besides the point, it would be better if it was as big as the Washington map.
Division 3, remake Division 1. You know, give us something, but don't give us this limbo, this
Hostiles guarding
this
location
garbage.
nearby.
Like here I am at 13 minutes on this video, and I'm still.
You know what's funny is I was already thinking this like 3 years ago when they were doing reruns of the Fallout mission. When that was happening, I even thought to myself, it's like, I don't know how these content creators keep on making new build videos when a lot of the build videos are kind of pointless, because it's like you can be outplayed by the now meta striker build. Like, and it's boring for everybody because like that's the only build that works, where you're guaranteed damage, you're guaranteed to beat everybody, and you're guaranteed to win. You know.
Um, but like it really aggravates the crap out of me to sit here and see this and see these content creators come up with something new, and then the developers are coming out with more builds left and right.
They're not though. They're just their version of content is new guns and new gear, but no content to come with it. It's and they know for a fact that the players will find something that's cool to use or cool to run, and if it's too good, they'll nerf the fuck out of it, or worse, break it entirely, in which people will not even use it. Like, I don't even know why they have the fucking World War II Tommy gun in this game. There's no fucking point to it.
Or more gear sets left and right. Yet we're still playing the same OP. You know, watch the video.
Like, I don't know if that's because the players, like me especially, like, I don't know if we're just a glutton for punishment. But yeah, we continue to play this game and support this game and make content about this game, but it's like it's all wasted for nothing. But yet we still wake up every day and still play this fucking game. I don't get it either, but no other game does shooting and looting shooting mechanics like this game. No other game does content like this game, where it's like you're somewhat appreciated for your time and you put into your character, you know.
Video the other day where this guy was, and I wanted to let you know I'm not upset at the person. I'm upset at the remark. The person himself is a really good player, but he's in PvP, and he made an offhand comment about well, not a comment. He wrote an offhand comment saying he emotes on shock players, and it's funny because the title of his build was, you know, Bonkzilla or whatever. Either way it go, there's a video about bonks, and I watched a couple of his videos, and I was, you know, I watched him because he's a really good PvP player. I do kind of avoid the bonk build videos, but this one kind of just made me laugh because he said he emotes on them. But I'm like, wait a minute, you're running a bonk build though. Like, why are you upset enough for using the gun when you're running all blues and you're doing the damage based on that, and you're hitting them with a shield? And not just that, but I've seen you run a wicked backpack build, and yet your wicked
Detected. Nearby
requires
location
you to
guarded by
do it on a
hostiles.
status effect. Why are you picking and choosing which status effect is you know, what's the word, acceptable to you? Why is that status effect more acceptable than, you know, or least acceptable than, you know, being caught on fire? And correct me if I'm wrong, but being caught on fire, don't you lose your ability to ADS?
Incoming hostiles detected.
I ain't crazy, right? You do lose your ability to ADS when
I low-key agree with you, but at the same time, it's like coming from a street fighting background, I don't disagree with people like making fun of somebody else in any way in a game like that. That's like common sportsmanship, I feel like. in a weird way, like fighting games especially, like if you dunk on somebody, you know, like you kind of have the right to taunt somebody. I don't know. That's just my way of feeling.
you get caught on fire.
Exposed.
You know, don't you run a foam build? Like, I've seen you foam people or disorient them.
I noticed this too about division players who do PvP. A lot of them kind of get mad at each other for doing this type of stuff, and also when they do these type of things, they're hated on and stuff like that. But it's like it's a PvP game. You entered in the PvP realm. You kind of asked for it. I don't know what you expected. But what's weird is that, like, if you probably met that person in PvE, you probably would have been your best fucking friend. Who knows? You know?
Like, all the things that you're sitting here. Oh my God, come on.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
That sucks.
Agent
All the
down.
things that you are picking and choosing what to argue
Civilians in
about.
distress.
Like, what you consider acceptable. It's kind of unfair. Wow, this
Vital signs critical.
I got cornered.
Agent killed.
that explosion.
Bummer.
Sorry, I broke character for a second. I really hate the fact that the auto lock will pick and choose when it hits the weak point on those grenades. Like there's an auto aim on here. I got it turned off, but the problem is that sometimes when I turn it,
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? In PC, you can have that off, but the thing is, that's hard built into the system itself on consoles. But on PC, if it's off, it's off.
it will automatically gravitate towards their weak point when they're right up on me. And I don't know why. That's why I turned it off when I did. But
That's a console problem, and that's for all consoles. All consoles do this.
it still sometimes gets there, and it can be so frustrating. But like I was saying, he picks and chooses which status effect is acceptable to him. Bro, you can't do that. Like, yeah, I'm angry at the bump bill, and I'm trying to, but I'm not angry to the point to where I'm saying, you know,
Civilians in danger.
it is. I don't know what's a better way of saying it. I'm angry at it because it seems like it is broken. And I'm not gonna say seem. It actually is. The damage that it does to agents in themselves is way more than it should. Like it seems like a broken talent.
Charge compromised.
Like
It's kind of why I don't like PvP in this game. There's too many ways to essentially break everybody else's build. Especially with status effects, bleeding is still fucking broken in PvP. Fire is like almost disorienting to the fight to the point where it's like you can't even aim, and you can't even run away. Like you're stuck, and if you run away, your camera's all fucking all over the place. So like when you run away, you probably run into a wall, and you can't do anything. And then with like electricity, you're just stuck in position until the status effect wears off. And foam, you just stick there. You're kind of stuck. You can still like move. You can still like move your camera, but it's really slow. Other than that, but you're really slow and you're an easy target.
whipping the shield out and hitting somebody when you're running
And there's no real way to really counter this unless you know for a fact what that person's running.
all blues.
That's why if they worked on conflict and then gave every single build, like, you're playing this build, there are this number of people playing this exact build, like you knew ahead of time, or you had to choose what you had to run at the start of the game, I think that would be a lot more better and a lot more like competitive to play. Conflict is such a good game mode to play if they put more work into it.
I've seen people who are running red bars, all red. I don't say red bars. People who are running all red get one tap by this build.
Oh, for sure. If you're all red build, that's it. You're pretty much dead in the water if you're hit by any of these status effects because you're not countering anything. You're pure just damage, unadulterated damage. But the thing is, you're basically Akuma running into PvP. You're gonna die instantly because you can't counter anything.
Like
Unless you get the first shot, you're dead.
that's how overpowered this build is, and yet you're running an all blue build and doing all red damage. But you want to sit here and get angry because somebody decided to shock you. you kidding me?
Fuck, man, you gotta get out of there.
More fire. Right. But like I'm talking about this because it's what the content creators are picking and choosing what's acceptable. Like I said, these reactions that are out there now, they are the reason why, you know, some players or some people's favorite builds is being nerfed to the ground because we're sitting here arguing over content and what should be content and what's not content, and yada yada yada. When the truth of the matter is, we have got to hold these developers accountable. Like the stuff that we have out right now, it is what it is, just because the content is about the same. You leave something wrong, you leave something out long enough, somebody's gonna find something wrong with it.
Oh, for sure. That's what happened with shrapnel charges. It was so overpowered and so broken that like, people abused the fuck out of it. But that was supposedly considered an exploit, when in actuality it was actually just a part of the game, but just a huge oversight of the developers not testing their game. It's like whoever they get to test this game don't even play this game on a constant basis like any of us. Instead, we're given the shit end of the stick if we find these things and then abuse these things because we didn't know they're exploits. How the fuck were we supposed to know? As far as we know, it's a part of the game.
Which is why that whole claws out, Lady Death, Crusader Shield, and you know I think somebody now runs it with the bloody knuckles or whatnot. That's why it is so freaking strong, because you left it there long enough without even knowing the parameters of your own game.
I guess that stands to reason why today they're making new builds or they're giving us new weapons slash items stuff that produce more melee damage. Because for some reason, a lot of these new exotics they're giving us have something to do with melee damage. I don't know why, because I'm looking at it from a PvE standpoint. It's like what at what time, at what point are you going to punch somebody in PvE? But it stands to reason that means that they're actually a PvP build. But it just goes to show they don't test it before, they don't bake it before just releasing it outright.
And that's what we
Or maybe they do. Maybe people do find these broken things. It's like, you know what? This will keep the content going for a little bit. Just keep in the game. We'll patch it later. We know it's bad. We know it's broken. But let's keep in the game. You know, it'll keep people coming and be annoyed about it. It'll give us time to make something, make more bullshit. Essentially,
as gamers are
that's the conspiracy me talking.
stuck with. We're stuck with the bullshit that they keep. Excuse my language, but it's frustrating. We're stuck with the bullshit that they put out because we got nothing else, and they know it. So, petition your content creators, all of them, small, big, whatever it is, and all of my subscribers and viewers. If you're watching this video, go out there and just say, "Hey, enough is enough. Like your game, it needs to be like, so, you know, if you want to give up on Division 2 and give us a skeleton crew, cool. But where's
That's already the case, though. Like, it has been a skeleton crew for almost 2 years now, and they're just now getting the hang of the game.
my remake of Division?
I mean, hell, even the head art director was finally given the chance to actually make his art come into the game. There's actually a tweet about this and a podcast about this. And it's crazy to know that now, all of a sudden, now that the game is quote unquote dying, he's now given the chance to like actually put what he wants into the game, art wise.
If there is no Division 3, if there is no Heartland that you got, stop twiddling your thumbs and go in there and spend 3 months bringing us Division 1 on this new console system, and we will shut up. because there's so much stuff that can be
I think people want Division 1 back purely because of survival. Because that's the only game mode I hear about that's really worth playing in Division 1. The people still go out and play still. Other than that, though, Division 1, I don't know if you want to go back to that. You're pretty much going to face the same thing you're facing right now in Division 2.
be done on Division 1. Like a remake of Division 1 would be so warranted. But you know, until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're stuck, and I've hit a wall. Like, see, now I'm at 21 minutes. I've hit a
Friendly
wall.
combatants
I'm
detected.
so stuck on content right now. Like, I could put out stuff, I really could, but the content isn't new.
You hit a wall because there's absolutely nothing to do in the game. There's nothing new to do. Like, there's no new guns that really change anything. There's more these guns that they're adding in. It's almost purely just for fluff, really. Like, there's still better things out there that were already in the game from the very beginning.
It's old. It's gonna be old. It may be new to some. It may be new from me, but it's all old content, and I can't keep putting out all this old stuff, and and be comfortable doing it, and it end up being semi clickbaity. Just
Here's the thing, and I'm pretty sure he's in the same boat that I'm in, where it's like, the reason why you can't jump off a different game is because the fact that how this game handles stuff, like as a third person shooter perspective, no other game does this right, or no other third person shooter does third person shooting like this game. That feel of, shooting something feels good, the animations feel good, you're immersed into what your character's doing, and you just want to keep, get to that next NPC and take it down. Like no other, it's engaging gameplay. That's the word. That's the phrase. And no other third, like even First Ascendant, I just played it yesterday and I was like, this is really boring. The AI is so brain dead. It just stands there. It doesn't try to take cover or anything along those lines. Where it's like this game, it's like it actually tests you. The NPCs that you engage with, they'll see you and they'll actively run to cover. And if they know they can't win, they'll run away and find better ground to fight you on. It's insane. Like, it actually makes you feel like you're actually fighting in a war. You're actually being tested here.
because it's old stuff, and I apologize to all of you.
That's the crazy part. Division 2's AI is some of the most advanced NPC AI I've ever seen in any other game. Like, it's so smart. Even the doggos, the sniper doggos especially, they won't. Some of them will go up to you and just snipe you right in the fucking face. But most of the time, they'll run away just so they can get high ground or get to a point in the map where they can't really be touched, and then snipe you from afar. That's how fucking smart this AI is.
New players that have to sit here and suffer through this, or you old players that are stuck because there is no other game out there. But this is where we are right now. It's like the video game world is still stuck in coronavirus. At a standstill. The world is frozen because there is
Friendly
nothing
combatants
new.
nearby.
There is no motion, and there won't be for a while because they're twiddling their thumbs and they're completely comfortable telling us, "Hey, that's that. We're coming with it, just not right now." So until then, the best thing we can do right now is, like I say at the end of every video, y'all take it easy and get your shade level up.
Very good video. I liked it.
Are you still wearing enough?
Good lord, these ads. Jeremy Johns.
What
God
is
damn
the
it.
business?
But yeah, this is Trade A381. Go check him out. I really like this video. Um, yeah, I totally agree. Like, every and every game coming out that tries to accomplish this, it's like they never heard of Division 2 or never even heard of Division series and see what we're talking about in terms of gameplay, in terms of engageability, in terms of like fighting something that seems like it's alive, you know? Cuz a lot of these games, a lot of these open world games that have this type of gameplay don't capture that same umph, I guess. You know, they play it very safe, and it just gets really boring instead of really fast. I don't know. I don't like it. But yeah, I wish there was more content to do in this game other than finding broken shit and making videos about it and then just getting the views off that. But the fact that there's no content, that's proof to you that there's no content in the game. People would rather make content about exploits, what's broken today, and do this before it's patched out, you know. Instead, you know, maybe it'll change once Incursion comes out. I'm hoping to God that that is actually fun and worth playing. Uh, but for the PvP ness, I really wish that they would work on conflict. I really wish that they would work on conflict and make that something more than what it is. Give it bigger maps, give it more team members to fight with, and just make it overall more fun. You know, balance it out by just making everyone has to play a specific build, you know, and it has to revolve around that. And I think the only way they'll ever achieve that is if they rework the specialization weapons. If they respec all those things, or either that, with these seasons coming out, give us a new spec weapon that we can play around with, so they can figure out what works and what doesn't. Because right now, I don't know anybody who uses any of their spec weapons in any runs, probably other than the minigun, the sniper rifle, and the grenade launcher. I don't know anybody else who uses the spec weapons in almost any mission that we run, because the spec the what is it, the technician specialization weapon, that one's shit. It takes too long to get targets and then fire it. It takes forever, and 9 times out of 10, the missiles don't even hit the target. It's so dumb. Like they have to work on a lot of these weapons. I was expecting that weapon in particular to be like that one weapon from what's it called, Commando, when Arnold Schwarzenegger pulls out that four missile launcher, that 4-barrel missile launcher. I was expecting it to be like that, where it's like instantly you see a target, fire it. You know, there's no like, oh, you gotta hold it down, wait for it to find targets, then it fucking fires. By the time it reaches the person, that person's already dead, or it doesn't even hit him. It's so fucking dumb. And the grenade launcher, I don't know. I don't know if it's the arc that fucks with you, or sometimes outright when you shoot somewhere, it won't even hurt them. Like, it has to be a direct shot or nothing. Because even if it's like just if it's a shot around them, sometimes it might hurt them enough, but it won't instantly kill them. That's the thing. It's not. I feel like that weapon should have been like I fucking got you. That's all I fucking need. No, it's like I got like I got 6 rounds, maybe less, and those 6 rounds could potentially take down one person. Maybe we'll see. You know, I don't know. This game needs a lot of work still to this day, and since Division 3 is announced, I just hope that the narrative stays the same from what we got from Division 1, where it's like really hardcore, like we're in a fucked up world, not we're in a daycare center, you know, like Heartland. That's my 2 cents. All right. wondering how I can edit that. Because I didn't hit record. God damn it. And I can't even edit it here. So what's everybody doing? What if I like stop the stream and then stream again? Can I do that? Let's see here, hold on. Man, that video is getting a lot of traction today. Oh, you can't edit it while it's streaming. Bummer. Okay, let me stop the stream. I'll be right back.